In this video, I'm going to do a mass update on several different stocks that are on our radar and a few of you are asking for. But what you have to understand is like that entire market is down and it has been down since Monday. It will most likely trade down tomorrow as well, and I'll show you why. As you can see, like the biggest market cap stocks like Nvidia, Amazon, Google, Tesla, the biggest market cap stocks are down like 4%, 5%. And that brings down the entire market because majority of the S&P 500 index is held together by like top 5 or 6 companies like we can see here: Nvidia, Amazon, Tesla, Google, Microsoft, Oracle, so on. So when these companies are trading down significantly, it brings down the entire market. And as you can see, if you look on the right side of my screen, like almost all the microcap stocks that we have on our list, like they're all trading down. They're all trading together. And I think maybe on Thursday or Friday, once the stock starts to move back up, you'll see them all move up together. Like if the microcap stock starts to move up 10-15%, you'll see the other stock move up similar percentages. So what I want to show you on the S&P 500 index chart is that we can potentially see, and most likely will see, another like 1.5% drawdown until it comes down and touches this 50-day moving average. And that's very normal. It's trading in this wave pattern right here on the S&P 500. It'll come down and test this 50-day moving average, and then it'll start to bounce back up. When you should really start getting worried, when you should absolutely start getting worried, is that if you see the price break this 50-day moving average and clearly close below the 50-day moving average, that's when you should really get worried. That's when you should be like, okay, time to reevaluate all my position, maybe start closing some of them and set on some cash, because that's when things will hit the fan. And that's always a possibility. Nothing is 100%. You have to always understand that that is a possibility. But with all the money printing going on, like a lot of this right now is being caused by like the government shutdown and some other stuff that I won't go into detail. But in the long run, I don't think there is a chance that we're going to have another like huge dump like this, because the government won't allow it. There's just too much money printing. There's just too much inflation in the economy. So, but in the short term, it will come down and at least touch this 50-day moving average. So watch out for that. And that is going to bring down all our other stocks, all our other micro cap stocks that are a couple of $1 million market cap. They're going to trade down. So that's like nothing out of the usual. So for example, starting with Prophase. So the reason I don't want to constantly make updates on the same stocks is because it gets boring, and nothing really changed from the last time I made the video. You have all the information. If you go take a look at the last video, I had these two lines drawn right here. I told you that it is very possible that it is going to trade in this range. And what do you think is going to happen when the entire market is down? When the entire market is trading down, this microcap stock is not going to like trade up like 10-20%. No. So it's going to trade with the entire market, and it is trading within this range. So there's nothing out of the ordinary. Also, we have some earnings due this Thursday, so the day after tomorrow, November 6th. So hopefully we get some good news on earning, and that will start the rally back up. So that's something we can look forward to. But everyone that's asking me for updates on like Prophase and other stocks, like nothing changed from the last time I made the video. What do you want me to update you on? The thing I want to warn you against is like, don't get too hung up on my words. I bring you undervalued stocks. I make the case for why it's undervalued. I share all the information that I have, but then it's up to you to decide how to trade it. I'm bringing you undervalued stocks, but then you have to decide what strategy works for you. Don't wait for me to say, yeah, buy, sell now, because I don't do that. I don't give you buy, sell signals. So what exactly are you hoping to gather from an update? It kind of gets annoying. I do see a lot of you guys because you're pretty active in the comment section, but like, what did you want me to say about the update? There's nothing to update. It's trading in this range, like I told you, like hundreds of times. So there is really nothing to update on the stock. Moving on to Airstock. If you take a look at the last video, I told you that it is going to trade in this wave pattern right here, and that if it was to break this 50-day moving average, it would 100% come down and test this lower bound of the channel. And this would actually be an amazing point to take a position, because from here, once it starts its bounce back up, it is going to trade up to this upper bound of this trend line to about $1. So you're looking at a potential 80 to 90% gain. Again, nothing is trading or financial advice. Please come up with a strategy that works for you. You have to wait for this to start bounce. So you have to wait for this. So for something like this, you have to wait for the stock to like start bouncing off of this trend line, because it could just trade along this lower bound of the trend line. And for whatever reason, if it breaks that, then it's pretty, short term, like would not take a position. Again, the entire market is down. So when the entire market is down, micro cap stocks like this are not going to like trade up like 10, 20% or 5%. It's going to trade with the entire market. So wait for that bounce. Once it bounces off this lower bound of this trend line, then that's a great point to take a position. So even if you don't wait for that long-term rally, like I showed you in the video that I brought you previously, even if you just want to exit at this upper bound of this trend line, you're still looking at a solid above 50% profit. So this is a great play and this is a great position and the stock is looking great, but we have to wait for this bounce of this lower trend line. So now moving on to DDD, again, everything I told you in the last video stands. We do have this beautiful golden cross, but this is like the theme over and over in this video. The entire market is down, so of course all the micro cap stocks are going to trade down with the entire market. But we do have some earnings coming up. We are going to get some earnings like later today, maybe in a few hours from the time when this video is posted. So tomorrow we'll know for sure what happens. But pretty much like I told you in the previous video, that if it could potentially come down and test this 200-day moving average, it's not a bad sign because the entire market is down. And all we want to see is a bounce of this 200-day moving average for the rally to continue on the upside. And we have to wait and see what information we get from the earnings reports. I predict that the market will be down until maybe Thursday, maybe late Thursday. It will start to rally back up. Friday, we might have a positive day. Hoping we get some good earnings report and some good news on earnings. We would definitely like to see the stock close above this 50-day moving average on the weekly chart. And we want to see a bounce of this 200-day moving average. If we see that, then yeah, everything I told you in the previous video holds. And I'm not going to go over everything all over again because you have to go see the video that I made previously and the reasons I give you why I believe this is an undervalued stock, mainly because we have this golden cross and some of the other reasons that I give you. But again, over and over telling you, when the entire market is down, all these stocks are going to move together. They're all going to move absolutely together. And the only way the stock would not be undervalued for maybe a short while is if it trades below this 200-day moving average and clearly closes below it, then okay, it's not undervalued anymore. But as long as it stays above this 200-day moving average, the stock still has amazing rally potential. And I went over all the reasoning in the first video that I posted. So I haven't talked about OPAD stock in a few months. This is a stock that I was making videos on along with Opendoor. Opendoor I first introduced to you guys like right around here when it's trading at like 71 cents. And we had this massive rally. And after this massive rally is when I also started making videos on OPAD along with Opendoor because I told you that they will trade together. The really interesting thing about Offerpad is that I believe that this is actually a good long-term play. So as you can see, we had this massive rally. We had two pumps. We have two massive rally, one of 294%, the other one around like 339%. And now it's kind of trading all the way back down to like its previous lows. And if it does go below $1 again, or even around $1, I would just buy as much as possible because in the long run, it is going to rally again. As soon as the interest rate keeps dropping, it is going to be the same exact play as Opendoor. And this is, in my opinion, way more undervalued than Opendoor. If it goes back down to $1 price point and no like insane, terrible news comes out, they're not on the brink of bankruptcy or nothing insane like that. Because if it goes down to $1 price point again, it definitely becomes really interesting for a potential rally back up to like at least $4 price point. So a lot of potential, and it looks like it is going to keep trading down because we got this sell signal today and everything's on a downtrend. Personally, I'm really looking forward to this stock going all the way down to like this price point right here. If it goes down to that price point, it's almost like impossible to lose money unless some insane news comes out, like maybe they're thinking of filing for bankruptcy. As long as they avoid some really terrible news, if it goes down to $1 price point again, it's like an automatic, yeah, you're going to make money holding the stock in the short term because this is going to act as a phenomenal support. If it comes down to that dollar price point again, it is like one of the best undervalued stocks because as soon as the rates keep dropping, which they are 100% planning on dropping the rates, and Jerome Powell will be out of office in like a few months. So when that happens, stocks like this and Open Door are going to skyrocket. And again, I'm telling you one more time, if it goes down to that dollar price point, this will be like one of the best, most undervalued stock that you can like put in your portfolio. So please put this on your watch list. We'll come back to it. If there's some more interest in this stock, then I'll dig deeper into it and look at some of the short float information and see what the other analysts are saying. I'm going to go with Beyond Stock really quick. I don't want to dig too much into it because I want to make a whole separate video on Beyond Stock. But pretty much exactly like I told you in the previous video, that once it breaks this, like, so we're looking at the 45-minute chart, and I told you that once it breaks this 200-day moving average, it is going to 100% fill that gap. So it did fill that gap. And the reason this price point is super interesting is because it's acting as a major support. So long term, that's a really good sign. Like if it traded below like $1.34 and it went all the way down to like its previous, like, before we got this buy signal, it traded all the way down to like here, then yeah, this stock would be absolutely dead. But that is not the case at all whatsoever. The short is still very elevated. There's still a lot of retail hype, and after it closed this gap right here, this price point is acting as a solid support, as you can see right here. And again, the entire market is trading down. We were supposed to get earnings today, but they pushed it out to next Tuesday. So let's see if it updated on the chart. Yeah, it updated on the chart. So they pushed it out to next Tuesday, 11/11. Make a wish that this goes to $10. So that's something I told you in the previous video. That's something we're absolutely 100% hoping we get some good news on earnings. But besides that, this right here, $33 price point right here is acting as a solid support, which is a good sign. The entire market is down, so of course gonna trade down with the entire market. But we'll keep an eye out on this stock and see what happens. I'm going to make a whole separate video like digging into all the other information I found, and I'll do that before the earnings next Tuesday. If you're interested in that, let me know in the comment section. Please, let's get this video to 200 likes, and I will see you on the next one.